What is up, Rangerstop and Pop Nation? My name's Alexis Cardoza, and I am back here again on another beautiful, beautiful Thursday. And I'm not alone. As you guys know, I don't come in here on Thursdays by myself. I always come with fire, and I always come with some great guests. So before I introduce him completely, I just want to make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, you like this, and you share with all of your friends. And Kerrigan, I wrote something, as I always do. Whenever I have a guest, I write a little intro about them. So I hope I nailed it. And I'm gonna read that loud for everyone to listen to, and for you, for your beautiful ears, sir. So let's get ready here. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a true maestro of the microphone, a voice that has brought to life some of the most memorable characters in animation and television. With a career spanning decades, he's the man behind the menacing Goldar in Power Rangers, as we all love. The voice that has echoed through our childhood and beyond. A versatile talent whose vocal range is as impressive as the characters he's portrayed. Let's give a warm round of applause virtually for those of you who are not here for the incomparable, the talented Kerrigan. How are you? Welcome to the show. Did I do you justice there?
Dude, I have to tell you straight up, if I were to have been writing my own bio, I have 4 of them. Short one, medium long, and not one of them is as good as what you just read.
Oh, so, my God, that, my friend, is a testament to my writing skills, I guess.
Wow, I mean, wow. I'll hire you to write the next one. You beefed me up real good.
Hey, listen, I come real cheap, man, for a good for a good autograph. You know, we might work something out.
I still barter. I just bartered myself out of a ticket. I kid you not. Day before yesterday, I'm embarrassed to say I pulled the Goldar card and he took a bribe.
Are you serious?
I am.
Now, I know we spoke before about a certain story with you and Costco, I believe it was.
Oh gosh, yes.
So let's just start the show hot. Tell me about the cop story, and then tell me the other story.
The cop story was tricky because, you know, the old days, like, they're gone, and I am an old guy now. I was a young guy when I was ironically enough, when I was recording this show, those people are now the age I was when I was recording, when they were 5. I was recording when I am now. My core fan base is how old I was, i.e. 38, when I recorded the first year in 93. I know, that's crazy, right? So in the old days, we really got away with murder. I mean, it was insane, some of the things you could pull off.
Sure.
So, but now you don't play games. You know, you try bribing a cop, and you know you can be hauled out and beaten half to death. I mean, I don't trust nothing. But I handled it very carefully, and it was a minuscule, nothing dumb ticket, and I kind of hemmed and hawed, and I said, you know, I'm not bribing. I just want to tell you, I'm sure you got kids, and I played the game, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be damned if he didn't just say, hey, just slow it down out here, and you're a local, and hey, thanks for the autograph. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, let's face it. I don't care if you're 3 miles over. If he writes it, it's going through the whole mashugama.
Yeah.
And I have no shame. I pulled the Goldar card. So you want to know the Costco story? I'm an avid tennis player, and it keeps me sane. And right now I'm not on the court because I hurt my hand, and I'm not going to necessarily get into that. It's been a mess, and I didn't hurt it on the court. I broke up a dog fight, and listen, guys, I'm going to say this, and this is on a very serious note. You're seeing in the frame here. This came on this morning. This is a fresh splint. I thought I had sprained my hand. When you punch, I don't care what you're punching. In this case, it was a 140-pound Great Dane who doesn't have a mean bone in her body, but don't mess around with any dog and another dog over a bone. And it happened. Yeah. And you know, when it happens, it blows up, and it blew up. And I jumped into action. And I don't care if you're 20 years old, you start punching, and let me tell you, it ain't the movies. My fist hurts so bad, and I thought it was sprained, and it wasn't. And there's bone. They found a bone cracked back there, and I'm off the tennis court for 6 weeks over that mess. And I'm sick about it. I mean, this is not a good day for me, but I'm going to make it a good day because I love doing this kind of stuff.
Let's go. Ain't no
Oh no.
dog gonna mess
When
with
they
you.
told me this morning, I thought, okay, I'll do the x-ray finally. This was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't quite heal. And I went on the court on Tuesday, and it wasn't pleasant. I said, this isn't work. And this morning I said to my wife, I'm going in and getting an x-ray. And I'm just kind of so cavalier sitting there going, they're going to come out and they're going to say, yeah, you bruised it. You've bruised some tendons. You've sprained some tendons. Keep doing what you're doing. You got about another week. Oh, no, 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 no. Classic boxer's injury. You've got hairline cracks up at the top coming into the wrist, and you got to have the split. I said, what? Whoa, no. I got a cracked bone. Yep. 6 weeks in this. I'm a right-handed guy. Imagine.
I mean, listen, we need to just stop you from getting into between any type of fight.
Ever.
I mean, you didn't learn your lesson during Power Rangers. You just don't get in between.
No, it's a bit ironic, right? Goldar, one punch.
That's all it took. That was all she
wrote. It ain't the movies, guys. It ain't the movies. So the other day in Costco, staying on the tennis bent, they had new balls that just came in, cases. I buy a case of the pens at Costco, and I said, they said, well, we've got them on the shelf. And I said, yeah, but how long have they been on the shelf? She said, they came in 5 months ago, but we just got a new shipment in. I said, can I get one of those? No. I said, maybe, please, can we please? I'm not just going to pull the card.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. No, I don't think so. So I'm coming home the other day, and I go in, and I figured, okay, let's start legitimate. Go to the manager's desk. Can you possibly let me check? He gets on the walkie-talkie on the shirt, talks, and hey, we got a customer here, Costco customer, blah blah blah, wants to one of the new boxes of the pens. No, can't do that. We can't do that. And I get it. And he hangs up with him. I said, listen, would you call him back and ask him to meet me over there? And the guy looks at me. This is a kid. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I want to talk to the manager. I got something I want to share with him. Okay. Well, he meets me over there. He's the perfect age. He's perfect. He's 35 years old.
There it is.
I'm like, oh, he says, what's up? What's going on? Basically, what are we doing here? What's this about? And he's got kind of a sidekick off to the side. And I said, well, I really want one of those new cases up there way up high on the other aisle. And he said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I said, well, listen, you were probably a Power Rangers fan, I would think, right? In the day. He said, yeah, I was. I sure was. I said, yeah, well, I have some pictures in my car, and I want to sign one of them for you. I'm the voice of Goldar on Mighty Morphin Power. No, I didn't ask you. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you.
Okay, we'll go with that. He says, and he said it too loud too, because there are people, in Costco, they're everywhere. He says, no fucking way. And the other guy now gets in on it. You're the voice of Gold. I'm going, I am. And I got pictures for you guys. Oh my God. Hold on. This is incredible. Okay. Hold on. Hey, Jenny, get the forklift over here on 327. We got to bring down a case of the pens. Yeah. Just get it. The whole aisle is roped off with the yellow tape. The forklift is there. She's climbing it up 4 stories high to bring down the thing. I filmed it. I have it on the camera.
That's great.
And son of a bitch, if he doesn't pull up, oh, it's all shrink wrapped.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah.
to cut the shrink wrap with the thing and the blade, brings me the case, proudly hands it to me. I feel so grateful, I guess, privileged. I feel guilty. I did it. I pulled the Goldar card and it worked.
That's and I said this before, that's just gold. That's what I told Kerrigan. That's gold.
And if you think I did not go out, I said I got a little more shopping to do. Matt is his name. And I said, I got a few things I'll pick up. I want to get you that picture. And I said, where will you be? He said, just drop it in front. I can't believe I'm getting this. I said, no, you're the man. You're the man. And I got my brand new case of pen balls sitting in there, and I can't play for the next 6 weeks.
That's insane. Now,
Anyway,
you got your the stuff that you wanted to. You pulled your card. Now,
yeah,
I want to rewind it a little bit here. Throughout the years, Goldar was a part of Power Rangers for many years. People moved in and out of the series, but
Yeah.
Goldar was a mainstay. How much were you recognized through your voice back then? Did you ever just like automatically just sprinted out and started talking in Goldar voice around certain people, and people just kind of were like, wait a second? Power Rangers was so big, man. So like you couldn't just get away with it by doing a Goldar impression. People had to ask, right? Like conventions, was there anything like the conventions back in the day? I was a kid, so I had no idea.
No, the conventions, as I recall, even though the San Diego Comic-Con was that was the first and only convention.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't recall what year that started. Certainly well before the Power Rangers even aired. My first convention was Power Morphicon in Pasadena with Scott Zillner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was probably 15 years ago. Now, I think they'd been going on maybe a couple years prior.
Sure.
Loosey-goosey, maybe, and that. If somebody had told us in the day when we were recording that we were going to be going to these things called Comic-Cons and signing autographs, I would have said, whatever you're on, I want some of it, So in answer to your question, I probably did launch into the voice at some point for some reason, for whatever, and did that. But for the most part, no. That was the beautiful thing about this thing being so huge, was you got to have the best of both worlds. You were a star flying under the radar. In other words, you could roll around on lunch. Nobody went, aren't you? None of that. None of that existed. So that was great.
Yeah.
And yet, when you wanted to be the star, you could be the star anytime you wanted.
Sure.
So kind of cool. We kind of got to play it both ways, which is really cool. And the fact that we're still actually getting to do this at 30 years later, I mean, that's some shelf life, man.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk to you about and bring up. I mean, we're talking about 1993. We are well over the 30-year mark now, going into 31 years. Obviously, the Hasbro team took the year off of Power Rangers. There was no new season, but kids are still watching it. Kids are still, finding it on Netflix, which is crazy.
I have Netflix to thank. Alex, I really do. Thank you, Netflix. I go live on air. Thank you. I owe Netflix. Now, Netflix isn't doing this to do me a favor. They see the numbers. This is a money game, and it's being watched. And what's beautiful about this is they're playing it from the first episode.
Yes.
So the people that are your age now, and the 38-year-old and the 42-year-old and the 45-year-old, and in some cases, even older, and they're saying, no, you got to see the first stuff So I am getting new fans in their
Right.
20s that, I'm not just stuck with this 38-year-old that's turning 40. And, when I'm 80, it's going to be, oh, what are you, 60? Ah, you used to watch the Power Rangers. Eh? I, I get to go back 20 more years because as long as Netflix keeps running this thing, mwah,
I know,
it's a
and I don't think
beautiful
it's
thing.
gonna honestly, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I believe that, this show with whatever, Boom Comics has done an incredible job of keeping the Power Rangers relevant in with their stories. Like they're
And that's
capturing.
that's Kyle's, right? That's Kyle's book. Isn't that the guy who
Yes,
Kyle?
yes, yes. I forget his, and I want to say Higgins, but it's not Higgins.
It
But
is.
yes,
No, it is. It is.
it is
It
Higgins,
is
right?
Higgins. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got Amy Jo Johnson now, who's writing a limited 5-part series
Mhm.
that sees
Mhm.
the Power Rangers story, and the Power Rangers join again after 30 years to take care of some problems, which is in like the thought
Can
process.
can you phone that in for me to Amy and tell her that Goldar needs a job?
Yeah. Yeah. Her and
Can we bring
David
back
Yost are running around freaking writing stories for these new. We got to have Kerrigan in there.
well, God, Goldar, this is something else people don't realize. I never died. I did not.
Right.
You never saw me go that what did they do with the sand? I
The
I
wave, the Jordan Z wave cleared all
no,
the evil.
I was not a party to any of that. I just
Wait a damn
quietly
second.
disappeared. So
That
I can make a very, very good comeback here.
you
And
know,
and we can identify the fact that I dissolved or whatever the hell they did with the
that's
sand.
interesting. Really quickly, I just want to see here on the chat. We got Psycho Orange who says hello, Kerrigan. I'm gonna put
Oh,
that up on the
I
you
gotta
can
put my
see.
glasses on. Yeah.
Yeah, I put it up on the screen so you can see here. Psycho Orange, hello. He's saying hello to you.
Hello,
Uh
Psycho.
And then we
Psycho
have,
Orange.
I
What
believe
the hell?
that's Omar or Omer. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. We want to hear the Goldar voice. Greetings from the Netherlands. We got a
Oh, well, you're a long way off from where I am, but who gives a good goddamn? The bottom line is, I can see everywhere on this silly planet.
very nice. We got here stuck on horror says good evening, Mr. Mahan. How are you?
Oh, well, obviously I'm doing great. I'm having a good time.
Who else? Let's see if I got okay. Um
Now wait, I
and
want to ask back to the Netherlands there.
yeah.
Are you really is that dude, are you really in the Netherlands? Is that happening?
Omer. I don't know if I'm saying that completely correct. Omer,
Wow.
but with the little dots on the top, which means it's an accent, just like in the Latin language, we have the little a tilde on top of the N,
Well,
which makes it a nya.
he knows Barbara Goodson, who played my boss on Power Rangers, Rita, and she and her husband are, I think, are still in Iceland. They went to Iceland on a vacation. I'm not suggesting that Iceland is the Netherlands. It's like I'm not one of those guys that go, oh, they're all the same, aren't
You're lying. Now, during I want to take it back here. Now we've already touched the fact that 30 years later, the franchise is still hotter than ever. People want to see, especially my age. We have our kids. We're showing this to our kids, and it's insane. Where we're kind of now bringing a whole new generation to kind of see, not only start from the beginning because of streaming, right? We don't have to fuss around and look for freaking VHS tapes.
No.
Um, to so they can see up to current day. During those years that you were in Power Rangers in the beginning, did you ever feel that you wanted to take your character to be a little bit more serious? Because your character was a little bit over the top funny. In the beginning, those battles with JDF, they were serious. Those battles,
Yes, I agree with you. I
those were
agree.
good. And I think that throughout the years, he kind of got a little bit too playful.
We struggled with that. Not when I say we, let me introduce you to the Great Dane in question that I had to put out of its misery. But by the way, it wasn't phased. The Dane didn't even look at me. I'm the one like
Uh-oh. Did we? There he is. Okay. There he is. Wow.
Okay. So that I interrupted our flow, and I apologize.
No,
Okay.
you're all good. You're all good.
That's my wife Melanie and the little terrier that I saved his life
Hello.
that night 2 weeks ago. Where are we?
We were talking about the struggle for Goldar.
Oh,
From how serious he was.
I was having a tough time with that, and I said to Scott, who's since deceased, and he was our wonderful producer director who we had so much fun with, and he was so great with everybody. And I said, "What's happening here?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, my character's getting goofy and stupid. Who's responsible for this for this for
Oh,
this what I guess we'd call it a writing arc?" And nobody really, we as artists, as is oftentimes the case, I don't care if it's Power Rangers or it's I won't go so far as to say The Revenant, but going on TV shows and regular stuff, a lot of times the actors just don't know what's happening and are kind of not in a position to be going, what are you doing to my character, unless
sure.
you're already a big star. um I didn't choose to say a word. I took my paycheck and said, well, if you want to start going down this road, I guess we can. But you're right. It got a little weird. And it's like, what was the justification? What
Yeah.
happened here? I can't answer it. I don't know.
There was something different about wingless Goldar when he, got his wings clipped. He was nasty. He was angry. Like it was just something about him. And then, Zed came in, gave him the wings back, and he just became this goofball, just running around with Rita's brother. Um, you know.
Well, maybe they were trying to rehab Kerrigan a little bit. I don't know.
Who could stop Kerrigan? Let me ask you something. Back in the day, this was all Saban's idea, right? So was this ever gonna, in your mind, did you ever think that this was gonna be something as big as it became? Like,
No.
or you just thought you just got a job and this is what I'm doing, just voicing these characters?
I would like to say the former. Oh my God, we knew it was going to be huge. Oh, we knew it. We had no idea. When we really knew what was up was when we did the live show, and the traffic to get to the event.
Yes.
I couldn't get through the traffic, the freeway, the 101, which is the artery to Los Angeles, was shut down.
There's
And
video of that everywhere still today, like how badly that was.
we couldn't believe it. I mean, I had to tell a guard who wouldn't let me on because I had to go to a different gate. I couldn't get to my gate. I had to completely detour. And when you're a voiceover guy in Los Angeles in the day,
Yeah.
every shortcut there is to be known. Every shortcut. There's nobody, even working actors, because the voiceover guy really is traversing the city on a daily basis, and he's working every day. If he's not
Sure.
auditioning, he's working, and not one job, sometimes 3 and 4 jobs with auditions in between. So you're just jetting up, down, over the hill, into the valley, over to West Hollywood, and all the little Hauser boom and through the neighborhoods. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw the day
Yeah.
when the cops would stop you, and finally that shortcut's gone. We're not doing that anymore. This is no longer a thoroughfare. So the shortcuts were actually blocked off. And this poor guard looks at his list. It's right out of a movie. And he goes, "Oh, you're not on the list." I said, "My friend, I am the voice of Goldar. This is a live show. I have to be in the wings and I have to be doing this show. And I got 25 minutes. And I'm telling you, brother, your job is at stake right now." And he looked
Oh
at me,
boy.
and I wasn't being a smartass. I'm just kind of going, we got to cut the crap right now. And he gets right on the phone. And he looks very flustered, and I see him breaking beads of sweat because he doesn't know what's happening, because it's the wrong gate. I'm way the hell at the wrong gate. and he all of a sudden goes, "Oh, waves me to go." So that's when we knew whatever the hell this is all about. It's
I
big.
mean, it was a world phenomenon. I mean, the toys, everything, the clothing, the lunchbox. I mean, it was just it took over everything.
I have right now one of the few things I kept. I do have a lot of the toys, and
Oh my
I'm
god.
actually, well, I'm going to be selling them at Rangerstop. I don't have tons. I have stuff that's my own personal stuff, and I
Sure.
kind of thought, I I don't know. I think I'm going to let it go. I'm not sure what that's about.
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
about getting older and kind of going, well, I
Yeah.
don't have anybody to really leave it to. I don't have kids. And of all that stuff, I have actual lunch baggies with Goldar on them.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have to Venmo and
Bring
PayPal
the
and
lunch
whatever.
baggies.
I'll bring me the lunch baggies.
I'll sign you a lunch baggie.
That's great. Now
Yeah.
back in the day, this wasn't and from stories that I've heard, this wasn't a union job. So
Well, you've heard the stories correctly.
so how did you feel about the situations? Like, a lot of the cast left because they wanted more money. How did you
Well,
like?
I'll tell you. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah, no,
answer.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to hear
Well,
yours.
the story behind the kids, quite frankly, I play into that story. Um, and I don't care who says what to you. This is the fact. Austin came to me. We were all passing ships in the night, meaning, they came in off the set to do their ADR, what we call ADR, which stands for automated dialogue replacement, which makes no sense at all. It doesn't. I don't know how. Anyway, it's called ADR. They come in and record their stuff. I record my stuff. We all single track, meaning nobody's there. Barbara and
Mhm.
I don't record together. I don't record with Austin. He does his stuff by himself. We're all by ourselves. Okay. And he stops me. I'm on my way out. He's on his way in, or vice versa. And he said, "Can I talk to you, man?" I said, "Yeah, yeah. What's up?" You got to remember now, I'm a 40-year-old man. He's an 18-year-old kid. These are
Mm.
kids,
Mhm.
and they're being worked. And I mean,
Mhm.
they're being worked. They're doing 12, 14, 15, 16-hour days, in some cases, 7 days a week.
Jesus Christ. That's
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And I believe, and I this is where I might be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I believe I said the other day, I think they were being paid $1,500 a week. Somebody corrected me and said no, it was 12.
Jesus.
So Austin said, "What do we do?" We got to get more money, and I said, "Well, um, how many of you of the 5 are on your side?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I'm speaking for me right now." I said, "Well, you're not going to do it, Austin, Red Ranger or not. When we go get our raises," I say our, not Goldar.
Right.
Goldar, Rita, Axelrod,
Yes.
uh, Michael Sorich for Babu.
Mhm.
Dave Mallow, Babu, Michael Sorich for Squat. We went in, all 5 of us. And even though Mallow was always a little timid about it, and uh, uh, there were those of us that were stronger and those of us that were weaker. But the bottom line is, we went in all 5 of us, and that is how we got our bump every time. And we got multiple bumps through those 4 years. And I said, "Austin, you've got to get everybody." And he came to me about a week and a half later, maybe. He said, "Well, I got 3."
Mm.
Oh, shit. I said, "Okay, you got 3. I hope one of those 3 is pink."
Mm.
He said, "It's not." I said, "You're in trouble. Who do you got?" He said, "I got Twee and I got
Walter.
Walter."
Yeah.
I said, "I don't know. I don't know, buddy. The betting windows are open, and I'm not I'm not taking it. I'm not putting money on it, and I'm not betting against you, but I'm
Right.
not taking the bet.
Yeah.
You have to at least, even if you can't get Amy, you got to get the other one, and so that she's the odd man out. But ideally, you all go. And that was the end of that. That was the end of that. And he said, "Well, we're gone." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." And that was the end of that. And we somehow hung out for 4 years. And of course, he did try to pay us a session fee for the movie. I'm serious. A session fee, for those of you out there that don't know what a session fee is, that's what you're paid for one episode.
Yeah.
Pay us for an episode. And we went out of the question, not happening. And we basically said no. And we were replaced. And we were replaced by our own cronies. I heard who replaced me. I'm not
Oh
saying.
my God.
Pretty
Wow.
scary. There's some pretty scary shit. When we finally came back, because why? Not because he liked us. The fans said,
The
"That's
fans,
not
yes.
Goldar. That's not fucking Babu. Who are these people?"
Yeah, correct. Correct.
And then Brian Spitzer sat there on the stage, and I come in and I said to the engineer who I worked with for years, I said, "Let me hear." And he's like, "What's?" And I'm the director. I'm the director. It's like, yes, just be quiet. We'll take care of this.
Wow.
It was so arrogant on my part. It was horrible.
That sounds like a Goldar moment there. The original Goldar, by the way, from the early series.
Oh my God.
Arrogant and an asshole.
He said to me at one point, he said, so when you do Goldar, I said, whoa. Like, please don't tell me how to do it.
Right.
It sickens me.
Sure. Those words right there would make me believe not to ask you a damn question ever again.
Oh my God.
Do your thing.
He didn't say anything more. That was the end of that. And I recorded Goldar for the movie. And we got well, I won't tell you what we actually wound up getting, but we got a decent chunk. It wasn't like, oh my God, you really
Right.
held them up. No. No. And it was favored nations. My agent said to me, "This is pretty much what everybody else has settled on." And I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Well, we can play hardball and maybe pull out a couple more grand for you, or let's stay with favored nations and be cool." And we all did pretty well considering where it came from.
Sure.
And
Wow. I
in
mean,
answer to your question, as far as union, oh, dude, that's a sticky wicket and a half. I mean, we begged the union, we begged Saban. I was a front man to a tremendous point. I took the brunt. I
sure.
got into all kinds of trouble trying to burn the candle at both ends. It was a political. It was the equivalent of me saying to you, "Alex, let's go into that door in Washington on the other side and see what's really going on." It was that insane.
That's the things that people don't understand, man. Now I've decided many years ago that I wanted to be in the TV, film, and now obviously the podcasting and entertainment space, which is what I do. That's my thing, and it's
Well, you do it well.
crazy.
You
Thank
do
you,
it well.
sir. It's crazy to understand and wrap my head around what you guys had to go through, because things are so much different now. The whole landscape is different now.
It's a whole nother animal. It's a
Oh
whole
my
nother
God.
world. Like I was saying to you off air, I took a one-man play off Broadway in 96, and we started recording Power Rangers in 93. We didn't have cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
Not to, a cell phone existed. Somebody had a cell phone, but not the regular Joe didn't have a cell
Correct.
phone.
Right.
We
Yeah.
had beepers.
Yeah.
You
Beepers.
kids out there don't even know what I'm talking about. What do you mean beepers? Yeah. Somebody wanted me and I was beeped. What do you mean you were beeped? I thought beep, beep,
And
beep.
then you had to find the closest
Yeah,
payphone
you go
and hope
find
you
a
had
payphone,
quarters.
call up and say, "What's up? You beeped me." You beeped me?
Or use 10 10 3 2 1 and
That's how old I
call
am.
them collect real quick.
And that's payphones existed and you put money in and they worked.
Oh my god. And
They
everyone
worked.
else used them
Oh,
in the neighborhood. So you
oh,
were just picking up a phone and putting it directly to your face and mouth
yes.
without ever thinking
Oh
twice.
God,
What
nobody
a perfect time to be alive.
thought it for a second about it. This was the way it all worked, and the pager of basically everybody had one brand. It was called PageNet. That was the
PageNet.
company.
Yep.
PageNet was it.
And
I mean,
everyone had the
that's not to
Motorola
say
beepers.
Motorola beepers. The first phone was a Motorola.
Yep.
It was a big old gray thing with an
Yep.
antenna.
Yep.
You're older than you look. I wouldn't guess
I
you
am
would be.
I am 41, 41, 42.
Okay.
One of the
All
two,
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I graduated in year 2000. I graduated high school. I just happened to get my very first like little Nokia cell phone back then with a little green
Yeah.
screen. I could play Snake on it, so it was I was advanced. I was ahead of everyone else.
I was so behind. I didn't write my first. I was thinking about it last night. In preparation to some degree, I never prep for these. I wing it, and that's the way I like it. But I
Love
thought
it.
about just how far back. I thought, when did you write? I remember who I wrote my first text to, and why. Congratulations on the baby that he had. And the baby today is 9, 10, I'm going to guess 13, maybe 14. So my very first text for me was about 13 stupid years ago.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
bad.
the last guy on the block
So good.
that ever wrote an email.
I'll tell you what. Back in the day, it was like you didn't call me until after 9 p.m. because that's when I got my free minutes. Before that, I only had 500 or 600 minutes for the day. So don't call me and don't text me before that either, because texts were like 10 cents each, and I was not gonna pay hundreds of dollars worth of text. My God,
Now we have conversations in text, and it's like,
nobody wants to call each other.
this wasn't designed for this. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no.
People break up on texts.
I know. Full on conversations, contracts, and all kinds.
It's crazy.
Before I get to some of the other stuff here, before we get off the air and get on some questions.
Yeah.
Power Rangers is over. We move on. What are you doing? What happens after Power Rangers for you? Do you finally join a union? Do you continue doing voiceovers? Do you do your off-Broadway shoots? Like, what goes on in Kerrigan's life?
Well, right now, Kerrigan, I have a hard time saying it with a straight face on any level, but for the most part, at 69 years old, Kerrigan is pretty much retired.
The R word.
I don't relate well to it. I don't understand it. And finally, you have to kind of succumb to going, hey, you have a pension from the Screen Actors Guild. You collect residuals. I worked a lot, and I was always union through this mess.
Congratulations.
That's where the rub came, meaning I was doing the no. I was breaking rule number 1. Some of the guys broke rule number 1 and did Power Rangers under an assumed name. Richard Horvitz was I, and he
really,
his credit was Richard Wood.
Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Well,
that was allowed.
No, it wasn't allowed. We could be fined. All kinds of bad shit could happen. I was the front man. I was the point man who actually went in before Screen Actors Guild, before the whole panel, and said, look, let's fix this. You guys, here is the ticket. Do you want to stop non-union and voiceover? Because look, on camera, it's hard to pull off non-union because you're on screen.
Sure.
It's like, well, that's Kerrigan. Well, Kerrigan, you can't do that show. It's non-union.
Right.
But voiceover, they're all slithering around behind the fences and into the studios. And it's like, you guys, I have your solution. Listen to what I'm going to say to you. And, Mr. Idiot Boy is there playing games with the Screen Actors Guild. Pretty powerful shit. There are 12 of them with their arms folded, looking at me like, okay, what do you got? I said, it's easy. You don't have cops on the street. You're going to have liquor stores robbed. Who are these cops? Simple. Out of work actors, give them a badge, give them a laminated thing. For $12 an hour, they roam around, and all they do is roam around the sound stages. And they stick their head in here and they stick their head in there, and somebody's going to go down, and they're going to go down ugly because they're going to be sitting in the fucking monkey's cage on the stool behind the mic, and your guy is going to go, what the F are you doing? Now, what happens? That dude is made an example of. He's fined severely. You're not going to kick him out.
Right.
Word is going to get around, even though we don't have cell phones yet. We have beepers, but that's going to be the end of non-union. Nobody's going to play games anymore because those guys are creeping around, and you don't want to. I'm not touching it. Well, they never did it. They never did it. To this day, they don't have cops on the street. Jeez. It's so easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So what did they do with my grand idea? They said, step out, Kerrigan. We got to have a chat. And they chatted for about 20 minutes. They called me back in and said, well, we've come to the conclusion that you worked non-union and we're going to fine you $10,000.
Oh.
I went, you should have heard what, those big tall doors that are about 15 feet tall and they're solid wood.
Yes, sir.
They're flat. Pounds. Oh. Did that building shake?
That's just
so that's me. I mean, that's me behind the scenes telling you shit that now it's going to get out there, and I'm going to get a call. Probably
it's going to live on the internet forever. I'll be your age one day, and I'll be going through the archives, showing my grandkids this incredible interview I had with someone who I listened to growing up, saying, "This is your grandpappy talking to Kerrigan, telling me stories about knocking people out."
The reason I'm going to be okay is because fucking Bryan Cranston to this day brags about doing Power Rangers. And it's like anybody plays games with anybody right now. And it's like, you want to do something with Bryan? Because
I think he froze again.
With Bryan. And,
yeah, nobody messes with Bryan.
He'd be like, oh, I love that. Oh, that was great. It's like, that was non-union, Bryan. You were union, Bryan.
Yeah, no one's saying none of him. That's funny.
Nope.
All right, before we get out of here, let's read some of these comments and questions that came in for you.
I don't want to leave. Then I have to go back to my regular life.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming. By the way, shout out to anyone who's union. I'm part of the Writers Guild of America, so it's a fun gig. Now, Darkkeeper 783 wants you to know that in the Boom Studios comics, Goldar has a brother called Silverback who he killed and took his brother's sword and claimed it as his own.
Well, I hope nobody's voicing me. Is that who's Silverback? Okay.
Well, obviously, because these are the comic books, there is no voice yet. Okay. But if they decide to bring them to life, Kerrigan, I think there's still room for you there. Listen, X-Men 97 is kicking booty on Disney Plus. They brought back like all the original cast from the 90s animated series. So
there you go.
Dawn, my wonderful co-host, says, what was your favorite episode that you were a part of? And if you could change anything about your character, what would it be?
Well, we covered that. I would
Yeah.
like to have stayed badass, and
Yes.
I think
Same.
that's what made him work. And you know, I think that I thought for years, why is this character so popular? Because it's so one note. And I realized, forget about the comedy stuff that came in, and I think I made that work in its own right. But I think what happened was, as an actor, it took me years to realize this. I brought a lot of different emotion into
Mhm.
Goldar. There was pain, there was anger, there was a lot of Kerrigan coming out in that
You
voice.
brought the
You know,
Carrigan in, yeah.
I brought it, and I think that's what helped color what could have been a very one note character. You know, just and it wasn't. He wasn't a one note character. So I didn't like the comedy goofy crap that came in, and answered the second part of your question. The first part was I loved the menacing episodes. I always liked getting down and dirty with, may he rest in peace, JDF and
Yeah.
Austin. When I'd really, there was one where it was all misty. It was actually in the
Yes.
first 25 episodes, I think it was. Yeah. And I was creeping around, and he's like freaking out, and I'm making it, I might as well have been Lee Van Cleef in one of the Eastwood, Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I mean, it was like, I'm going to mess you up, brother, and it's going to be so brutal for you. And it's so fun to be bad like that.
Yeah, that episode where you had him,
Yeah.
in the mist, you were in
Yeah.
in the lair, where you brought him
Yeah.
back. You did
Yeah.
that with JDF as well, and then you had that battle with JDF out in, like, the open field in the
Oh,
meadows.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was so cool too. Just
Yeah.
like, those childhood memories, man, you're a part of a lot.
I
Um,
know. I know. And I'm afraid I probably gave some kids bad
who
dreams. And
cares? They're better people now, they work at Costco.
there we go. And I'll tell you, in answer to your mate there, um, a role that comes up, and it hasn't in this interview, is Magna Defender. That was one of my
Yes!
favorites because because the writing was so good, and the plot line arc. I really got to dig in. Speaking of Clint Eastwood, by the way, that voice was patterned after Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood, and that was probably my most fun of all the voices I've done in my whole career. That was intense. That I didn't just walk in and start recording that. I wanted to look and talk to Scott and look again at him, and man, oh man, when that's, I mean, I was really in tears at a point.
Yeah.
It was a heavy character.
Now I'll tell you what, one of the reasons why, and I have your resume in front of me, I have everything, I have other questions and stuff like that
Mm,
that has to do with that part of your life where you've done a lot of voiceover work, and I have your an impressive resume here. Is because at Rangerstop and Pop, there might be the possibility that I might be able to capture you and have you on stage to kind of like talk and
yeah,
record some of these live from the
sure,
place. So I do have questions that I want to hold back because I do want to get close and personal, and talk about those things that are outside of Power Rangers. We know you're very well known for those incredible years there, but there's so much more other things that I want to ask you. And I think that if I get a chance to ask you in person, that'd be a pretty cool thing to do.
oh yeah. I sometimes have to go, and it's not, again, it's this ain't nothing to do with ego. I have to Google my own IMDb
Yeah, your
to
list is long,
sometimes,
brother.
update my thing and go, oh God, I forgot about that. And
Yeah.
something will come up. I go, oh shit, that's not in my bio at all. I forgot about, that stuff happens.
Well, I'm not gonna forget. Omer came back and said, "Is there a quote of Goldar which Mr. Kerrigan reminds most made an impact on him, which he finds funny or memorable? Is there anything?"
Oh yeah, well, yeah, of course it's the sexist one where, oh, so you think she's cute too, huh? That's in the movie, but I mean, I got such a kick out of that and he was so much fun. He was so good. Purple Ooze guy, who's such a renowned actor in England. I've hung out with him. He's fun, but we didn't act at all together. We didn't get to
That's
be together
crazy.
at all. I'd never met him until a Comic-Con
Wow.
back
That's
east.
Thank God Comic Cons exist.
Isn't that
Anaboka,
crazy? All that stuff.
I know,
single
yeah,
track.
that's
And we
insane.
wound up meeting at a bar in Philadelphia or something, and we went for hours that night.
But those stories are so insane. Like when you finally get to meet someone like that you haven't worked, like, you know, and you get to sit down with them, and then you just said that you're there for hours just talking and
Oh, well, I
oh
didn't,
my
I
God.
knew Paul was a renowned and so bloody. He's considered to be one of the most underrated, actual brilliant
Get out
actors
of here.
in
I think he
England.
might be I think he might be this from what I checked on the list, I think last year he couldn't make it, but this year I think he's gonna be in
Oh,
Atlanta.
if he's there, that's awesome for me
Yeah.
because he's too cool for school. The guy is the most humble,
That's
low
great.
key. You would never know how. I mean, he can quote chapter and verse every single Shakespeare play there
Oh
is,
my God.
every character. I mean, this is a consummate actor
That's insane.
and revered in England.
Yes.
He's just
Yeah.
not. We don't quite. What is his last name, for God's sake?
Look it up right
Free,
now. Freeman?
Paul Freem.
Hold on.
God, now I'm embarrassed.
No. Yeah, English. Paul Freeman. Yep.
Freeman, it is okay.
Yep.
God, oh my God, he's
How
good.
dare you, Kerrigan, forget his last name. Should be
Yes.
tattooed on your left calf.
You didn't really love. You forgot my name, love. My God, my God.
He's probably got that. Anaboka wants to know, what was it like to have both Goldar and even Magna Defender on Legacy Wars or even Battle for the Grid, the video games?
These things I cannot answer. You got me. When you say, what was it like? Did I voice them? Did I voice those characters?
I think you voiced the one for the video games.
Well, I did Goldar voice on a video game, and let me tell you how that happened. I actually called Kyle.
Yeah, you did.
Me, and I said, "Is there some reason they're not voicing me? Why am I not voicing him?" He said, Kerrigan, we've been asking the same question. You know what? Stand by on this. Let me look into this and see if we can. Calls me back the next day, says, "You know what? They want you to voice him."
That's
I said,
amazing.
"Well, hallelujah. Excellent."
Yeah, you voiced him in Power Rangers Battle for the Grid,
right,
2019, so you were on there. That's so I knew when I played it because I own it. I was like, there's no way this is just sound clips. This sounds like it's
no, I
did fresh recordings.
I did it actually out of my walk-in closet here in not in Cambria. I was living in Morro Bay.
Yeah.
And I recorded all my stuff in the closet. And then I stupidly asked, how much are they paying me for this? And we're not going to go there. We're not going there.
By the way, this one took me because I remember watching this show that I'm about to mention. When I was a kid, I would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to school, and for some reason they would be playing it at 7 a.m. in the morning on regular broadcast television. You played Jeb, the talking dog, on VR Troopers.
Oh, hell yeah.
When I read that, I was like, wait a second. I looked back at some clips and I'm like, sure enough, there you are.
Well, I said to them all, they hired me. Nobody else was hired. There was no auditioning. They said, just put whatever voice you want on him. And I did Jack Nicholson. And they said, we love it, but we can't do it. He'll sue us. I said, Jack isn't going to sue.
He's not watching.
They said, well, we just can't. I said, well, you guys are the boss. I say we go for it. It's bitching, and Jack will crack up if he ever even sees the damn thing. And it's not Jack. It's a parody on Jack. And they son of a bitch, if they didn't come back in a week and said, you know what, we've decided, go for it. And I did. And I loved it. That was fun.
That was a crazy era. The VR Troopers era, the big bad Beetleborgs. Saban had his hands in Saban had his hands in X-Men the animated series and everything.
I got called to do a commercial to do the voice of Jeb on a real commercial. Other commercials that I have an agent that I go and do commercials and promos and get paid real SAG money. and they wanted me to do this spot.
No, it froze. Come back. Ah.
Fee. I said, no, you're not. That you have nothing to do with, go through my agent. And the session fees quickly vanished, and the company realized if they want Jeb the talking dog to go, virtual reality's a gas.
That's that.
And that paid. That was a national spot, and it paid. And I don't remember what the product was, but that made
Yeah.
up for a lot of hurt.
I'm sure.
Line.
I am sure of it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Stuck on Horror says that you were brilliant as Magna, one of the best characters in Ranger history.
Woo, what a compliment, and thank you. You know, this will just add further embarrassment to it. I never saw it, and I went back about 3 years ago, 4 maybe, to what I want to see. I want to
Yeah.
see if I thought, is it as good as I thought? Not me so much.
Right.
Is this a story arc? Is this what I thought it was? And I sat down by myself and I watched, I think 9 episodes or 11.
Yeah.
I think it's 9. I think it's only 9 eps of me. And I sat there and watched them back to back, and bam, and no interruption whatsoever. And I'm just like, I'm forgetting it's even me. I'm so into it.
Sure.
And then the end comes and the thing, and son of a bitch, if I'm not sitting there in my living room by myself crying at my own performance. Now that is sad.
We all have to cry sometimes. You found your reason. Oh, that's incredible. I mean, let me tell you something. I wasn't expecting tonight to go so deep into what we went into. And I'm so glad. Yeah, I am
into the weeds. Yeah.
I'm so glad. I do have one more here. Tyler Hayton says, "Can't wait to meet you, Kerrigan."
Are you coming? Is he coming?
Tyler, are you heading to Rangerstop and Pop? And you know what? I want to take the time now while he answers. Guys, if you haven't yet, go to rangerstopatlanta.com and get your tickets. Book your hotel rooms. Everything's really affordable. So just if you're thinking about coming out and you're still kind of holding out,
go. Come on, come.
You got to go. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, you guys, I haven't done a Comic-Con. It's been years. I did go to Chris Bradley's event for JDF in Fayetteville, and that was good, but it was, you know, it had that other thing going on that was hard. It wasn't a normal show. This is going to be the first show that I've done in probably 4 years that's going to be a real show, and I plainly can't wait.
Yeah, so you know, it's gotten bigger. We moved it over to the we moved it over from where it was at to the CNN Center hotel and building there. It's just a convention center. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful square. Everything's right there. You don't really have to, like, you know, go out and search for places. Like, you know, where we were at before, there was food places and whatever, but like this is going to be something else. It's much bigger, very spacious. We have a lot more people coming this year. It seems to be getting bigger every year.
Well, the good ones do.
Yeah, there you go, Kerrigan. That's correct.
And you know, since COVID, I'm sorry to say, a lot of the smaller ones are going away.
Vanished. Yeah,
and you got to hold your own at this point. You know, if you're not, you know, a big one or a medium, or like we say in Hollywood, a boutique.
Yes,
a nice boutique. But
yes,
you know, these smaller ones, and I did my fair share of, you know, dare I say, ghetto conventions, and it's like I have no I don't want to do that. I want to do shows that are properly done and handled, and things work. And if they aren't working, they're going to get squared away as quickly as they can. you know, I mean, there's nothing worse. There is nothing worse than being at a show that is absolutely an embarrassment of
I know,
mess.
I know Barbara, I believe Barbara was there last year as
It
well.
was, yes.
It was insane because the 30th anniversary special, you know, for Power Rangers on Netflix was just, you know, was right around the corners. Like people were really
Yeah,
excited to see what was
yeah.
happening. So I am super happy, excited that you gave me the time today, Kerrigan. I know I'm gonna be extremely fortunate to be able to meet you down
Yeah,
in
this will be
Atlanta this
cool. This
June.
will be
Yeah.
very cool.
I'll shake your hand in person and we can share some stories. I'll buy you a beer if you drink. If not, I'll get you a glass of milk, whatever you want.
Got it, got
Um,
it, got it, got it, got it.
so,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, once again, yeah, you just follow Rangerstop and Pop on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. Make sure you just kind of stay up to date with any ticket information that might be coming out. We're always doing specials for those of you who keep up with us. Know that we always have specials for tickets. So if you haven't gotten yours and you're kind of still waiting, I wouldn't wait that long because the rooms do get booked up. The rooms last year went all out last year, and we didn't have any more
mm,
rooms left, and people were kind of like left to go fend for themselves and still just find a way to make themselves to the con. Kerrigan, are you at all on Instagram or anything? Are you out there putting yourself
I
your beeper
am
number, anything?
I am an enigma. I do no social media. The only way you're
Wow.
getting to me is like this, or you're gonna be there. I don't do it. I did it for 20 minutes so many years ago, and I said, I just can't warm up to this,
Sure.
and I will not hire somebody to play me. I won't
Right.
do it. It's not something that's in my gene pool. I can't do it. I won't do it. And as I said to my agent, I said, "Well, should I get in and do this?" And he said, "It's too late." He said, "You don't want this." I said, "No." He said, "No, no, too many platforms. You won't.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. It's not going to work." I said, "Okay, I'll stay this way." So I'm
Good for
virtually
you. Good for
social
you.
media virgin. I'm
You are disconnected from the connected,
I'm
which is great.
disconnected, and it's a little weird, but you know, so be it. I'm going to do a final plug. I don't know what kind of an audience we have.
No, give it up. Yeah, this is gonna live forever on YouTube as well. So people are
Forever
gonna
on
be watching
YouTube,
this.
as fate would have it, a show that I directed and produced called Matty, An Evening with Christy Mathewson. Christy Mathewson was a turn of the century New York Giants baseball pitcher and the most famous man in the world at the turn of the century. I don't mean 2000, I mean 1900. Um, Ironically enough, there's a beautiful new book and a huge, beautiful article in this week's New Yorker. Christy
Nice.
Mathewson is pictured on page 60. The stars are aligning. We took it to off Broadway 30 years ago. It looks like we're going back to off Broadway in the spring of 2025. We'll be playing at the St. Luke's Theater. And I don't have dates, but it will be, just think spring training. And if you're going to be in New York, look me up because I'll get you a ticket.
Hey, listen, I'm from Jersey
Oh, yeah.
originally, but if I have to make my way to do something up there with family and it happens to be around the time your show's on, which is springtime, I will make my way up there for you, sir.
I love it. We'll be playing Thursday through Sunday. It'll be 5 shows a week, and it's a damn,
I love
damn
it.
fine piece of theater. I
I love it.
promise you.
Get
Oh,
yourself
and you
cultured,
can go
people.
see more about the show at Matty, Matty, Matty.org.
Yeah,
That is one of the proudest things I've ever accomplished. This platform and Goldar and all of that. But that Matty is a chapter in my life that I am very proud of what we accomplished, one man and myself.
that's
Eddie
beautiful.
Frierson is the star and writer. I directed and we all jointly produced, and we're coming back to off Broadway. Crazy as it
Yes.
sounds. Oh, and Bob,
matty.org, people. I'm gonna put it in the chat just in case.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah, and Bob Costas is going to be uh, backing the situation, and Keith Oberman, who
Wow.
all were on board. Mad Dog Russo is back on board to further promote the show. They all saw it 30 years ago and were blown away. So they've all signed on with whatever we can do, we'll do it. So the fact that we got those guys again is huge.
That's awesome. Congratulations to you and, of course, to your team. That is Matty, matty.org, R-O-G. For those of you guys, if you're in the tri-state area, make sure you check it out. I love baseball, so this is something that right around my alley where I mean,
Alex, you will
fanatic.
love the show.
I'm a
promise.
baseball fanatic. I mean, look, I'm wearing my Yankees gear.
You
Thank you again, Kerrigan. Don't go anywhere while the show ends. We're going to have a little ending screen. Guys, you can follow me at Alexis Cardoza on Instagram, and I have a link in the bio there where you guys can find everything that I do and every other project that I work on. I will be at Rangerstop and Pop doing this same exact thing, RSP Lounge, but live there at the event. We will also be broadcasting to everyone worldwide via the internet. So we're going to be doing some good things. Kerrigan, thank you again. I appreciate everyone who came tonight to watch. And stay tuned. I'll be back again in 2 weeks' time. Keep an eye on my Instagram where I will be letting you guys know who that special guest will be. So follow me on there. Thank you again, Kerrigan. I'll see you guys. Have a great night, everyone.